Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with another scrapbook process video, and today I am participating in the Secret Not Secret Kit Club Woodgrain hop. And in case you haven't guessed, this hop is all about using wood grain. And so for my layout, I took out 2 pieces of wood grain pattern paper. I have this yellow wood grain and then this Webster's Pages scrap of wood grain that's sort of a whole bunch of rulers all stacked up to make that pattern paper. And that is going to be the wood grain, or most of the wood grain that I use on this page, and those are going to be my background papers. So I have gone ahead and cut those. I'm going to border my background with that brown piece of cardstock. And just to add something to the background, I did take some white Mr. Huey's and just do some splatters. I love a white paint on a wood grain paper. I will say that I love wood grain paper, and I find myself hoarding it more than using it. So I'm one of those, I absolutely love to buy wood grain paper, and I always love the look of a wood grain. I just am really bad about making myself pull it out and use it because I want to keep it forever. And so this was a good challenge to participate in because it made me pull out some of those papers and kind of play around with some wood grain. And I don't use a ton of colored wood grain, so this particular layout was great to pull out that yellow wood grain paper that had really been sitting in my stash for quite a while. I can't remember. I want to say that it was like a Fancy Pants, I think is who that yellow wood grain was from. So while I was talking, I also took some other pattern paper and did a border on one of the with a scallop punch on one of the pattern papers. And then I just have some other scraps here that don't go all the way around my photos, but I'm just going to do some little photo mats with these scraps that you see here. I have this yellow one that I'm putting behind both my photos, and then I have this teal colored cardstock that I'm going to also use to mat behind my photos, and it's going to be a bigger mat, so it kind of encompasses those two photos. And I am using 2 photos on this page, and they are of my kids, and it almost looks like a gingerbread house. This was at the ice exhibit at the Gaylord Palms a couple of years ago, and we took the kids, and I absolutely love the decorations that they had, these like beautiful like Nordic kind of gingerbread looking houses. I love the look of them, and so I snapped a picture of them, and then I have the kids in front of the sign. And so those are going to be the 2 photos that I'm using. And like I said, I'm just taking this teal, and neither one of these pattern papers really went all the way around my photos, but I knew I was layering up the 2 photos side by side, as well as that teal paper. I was planning to just kind of make it frame almost around both of the photos. So now, because my background is still drying, that white Mr. Huey's I find takes quite a while to dry. I am going to just on my mat here start to build the clusters. So you're going to see that I'm going to have 3 embellishment clusters, and I have these little houses which were from one of my Creative Cuts Club kits. So I'm not actually sure where they are or what store they are actually from, but I backed the houses off camera, and they are just in coordinating colors with the flowers that I had fussy cut from a piece of pattern paper. I kind of just went off those colors and picked some scraps from my stash, and I'm going to layer up those houses with those florals, and I'm going to have 3 embellishment clusters that go around my photo, and then, which is completely and totally not my normal design, I am actually going to put another small cluster up at the top, and you'll see when the actual background papers come back that I felt like I needed a 4th cluster or something up there at the top, just simply because it was going to be really bare if I didn't put something up there. And so here you see I have just gone ahead and built out those clusters. I just have some of the florals. I have some chipboard. I have some ephemera pieces in stars. I have some brads that are going to go in each of those clusters, and I kept it pretty simple. I just went ahead, like I said, and pulled the colors that worked with the florals that I was using and kind of worked with the yellows and the wood grains that I had in the pattern papers. And so now you see I have my background. It is dry, and I'm just going to finish the actual background of the layout. I have that scallop border strip that I went ahead and punched, and then I grabbed some gold glitter washi tape, and I just put a strip of that along the top of that border, and that finishes off my background. Now I have my photos, and I've put those on that teal piece of cardstock, and off camera, like I said, I went ahead and just glued together all of my little sort of embellishment clusters that you saw me build. So there you see I'm putting that fourth one, which is going to go up there at the top of the layout, and I kind of love how that kind of just pulls everything together. Now the next thing that you see me working on here is my title, and I am keeping the title really, really simple for this one. I have these sticker sheets that have these pre-made words on them. I have so many of them, and I need to get them used up. So I'm really just going to call this one Love This. So a really generic title. Now the one thing with that L in the word love, I didn't like how long it was before it got to the O, so I just went ahead and cut that apart and then just connected it to the O so that it kind of was a bit closer together. And it's one of the things that I often find with these scripty ones. Sometimes I will do that if I feel like the pieces are just too scripty. I kind of will cut them apart, and when they're foam, that is the perfect way to make those work. So don't be afraid to do that with yours. If you find that it just isn't working the way it's originally cut, or the original way the puffy sticker is, feel free to cut them apart and make them work for you. So now that I have my title down, everything is glued down on the layout. I did lift up some of those clusters with some fun foam off camera. I've added the brads. I'm now, just as finishing touches, adding some sort of gems that I had off to the side. I have these word stickers, which I'm going to put one in each of the clusters. And then I think as a finishing touch here in just a second, I am going to come back with some enamel dots, and that will finish off this layout. And actually, I was wrong. It wasn't enamel dots. I finished it off with those gems. And so here are the still photos. I will have everyone who is participating in the link down below. And so with that, guys, these are the photos, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.